We going Blade Runner today. We going full Blade Runner. I gotta wear a disguise today. I gotta wear a disguise today because the topics I'm talking about, you know, might get me in trouble with I gotta wear I gotta wear a disguise because after these topics today, the sellout mob might say that I'm in woke mob. So this is my this is my woke mob disguise right here. You know what I'm saying? Remind me of the little net runner thing you get on Cyberpunk. What's going on with y'all, man? What's the word? How y'all doing? Thursday. Um it just started snowing. It started like I'm talking about big dumb violent snowflakes outside. You know what I'm saying? These aren't your granddad snowflakes. These aren't your liberal snowflakes. You see them snowflakes outside, Kimberly? Those aren't your granddad snowflakes. I know that means that the rain condensed in the upper layer of the atmosphere and now it's turning into snow before it hits the ground. Nah, but I like this that fluffy snow though. But it's gonna be a problem for everybody out there driving right now because of all the rain that's underneath it. It's probably pretty dangerous out there. So everybody driving, shout out to everybody in Milwaukee, man. Make sure y'all drive safe today. Cause it's weather too crazy, man. You know, it's snowing today, so that means it's gonna be 80 tomorrow. But yeah. So y'all know it's Black History Month. You know that. You know that. I remember Black History Month when we was kids used to be a way bigger deal. And it used to be like we would have Black History programs at school. It would be good stuff on TV, a lot of black movies, Tales from the Hood, and all type of stuff like that. It was just different. But we live in this time right now where basically they could call it what they want to. They call it this, they call it that. But we living in a time where it's a war on black people's history. It's a war on black culture right now. They call it the culture war, but a war involved two people fighting each other, and nobody is fighting. Nobody black is fighting against nobody else's culture. We're not telling people to speak English, or you know what I'm saying. We're not telling people to. We're not coming up with slang words for people's different cultures and stuff like that. Like we really ain't the hate dealers like that, like of the world. You know what I'm saying? We ain't the hate brokerers and shit like that. But been a lot going on with this war on black history. They taking Martin Luther King out the schools. They going so far up as to take Barack Obama out of the schools and stuff like that, and tell teachers like, oh, you can't have a picture of Barack Obama in your office, but you can have a picture of Donald Trump in your office. So the president before him, the president after him. But I'm gonna tell y'all this, and we can argue this all day, because I can argue this a million days in a million ways, that in this country, black people are a political party. I'm gonna say that one more time. In this country, black people are a political party. I had to explain that to a white person one time. I said I had to make him think about it. I had to bring him around full circle like I was his uncle and shit. Cause he was like, yeah, BLM should be a terrorist group, not the Ku Klux Klan. You know what I'm saying? Not the Bloods, not the Crips, not none of that, not the Hell's Angels or none of that, or the 3%ers or nothing. Black Lives Matter should be a terrorist group or whatever. And then I'm like, Black Lives Matter is not even, they've never lynched nobody. They've never firebombed nothing, blew up no buildings. Who are they actually terrorizing? Like, who would you say that they're terrorizing if they're a terror group? And in so many words, when people can't answer a question, they just start throwing out they own like questions or whatever. They trying to answer a question with a question. But in so many words, the conversation devolved into this. I'm like, well, who are these terrorists in Black Lives Matter? I'm like, he was like, well, they believe this and they believe that and everyone matters and all this. Like he was the white dude. He was all over it. Like black, he is acting like Black Lives Matter was, you know what I'm saying, pulling on his pinky toe or something while he was talking or something. Like, you know, when people are propagating to you and they're not really speaking in a factual way, they try to appeal to your emotions or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to tell his ass like this, right? I said, who would be in this group? I said this. I said, don't you think all black people think their lives matter? Or shouldn't all black people, do you think black people are wrong? Any black person who feels their life matters? And then he was like, well, I don't know. I'm just saying that. So then I'm like, okay, well, do you think that every black person that feels their life matter is part of this group, this terror group that you have? And he just couldn't really say nothing about it because in a nutshell, that's what he didn't really know it, but that's what he was trying to sell me, that thinking that you're identifying positively as a group with black people automatically make you a terrorist. What's going on? Salute, Hustlers Home. Salute, homie. So he was saying, like, you know, basically in a nutshell, without really knowing what he was trying to propagate to me, he was trying to say that every black person that feels like Black Lives Matter or identifies with their life mattering, you know what I'm saying, more than being a trivial thing to you know, commodify until you can cast away. And like, I'm gonna be black from the day I'm born to the day I'm died, so I'm gonna take pride in it and I'm gonna try and be a credit to myself and my people. That right there makes you part of his or their terrorist group. Man, it's Black History Month. I'm black as hell. Get them likes up, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Africa, okay? I'm first generation over here. You know what I'm saying? I caught malaria. I had the big swollen stomach. You know, so I might even had a fly on my face. So get my likes up, man. You know what I'm saying? I came to America, man. You know what I'm saying? In this Black History Month. Show a young African brother some love. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm cooking right now. Nah, for real though, because I've seen a lot as being half African and being raised with a lot of culture that goes back years, and also being from America and, you know, seeing how black people tend to think. I would tell my friends certain things and they would just be like, well, see, man, you think like that, bro, because you African, bro. So that's the reason. And it wouldn't be no African shit. Like, it wasn't like, go get the fish out the river with the spear. Like, no, I wouldn't know shit like that. I was telling them. You know, I was just telling them like practical type of economic shit or whatever, you know, and they was like more or less like, nah, man, we can't, that's not the way regular black people think. It's like, I don't know, it's a mind frame they try and put us in. But you know, we dealing with that though. We dealing with the real dilemma is us trying to self-realize. I thought about this the other day, man. I get into some deep trains of thought, and I thought about how a lot of racism and what we equate to racism, man, just boil down to them, you know, not wanting us to get ahead because of what they did to us in the past. Think about it like this, and then I'm gonna get this show started. I'm gonna go right into the clips too, because everything all black. We talking interracial marriages, or we talking interracial couples. A white chick was cooking on that. We talking what exactly whiteness is and why people of other races try to uphold whiteness as opposed to their own race. You know what I'm saying? And how that benefits them, for how they like that little pat on the head, and why. We gonna look at that. And then we going into QC, because, you know, they like the #1 black hip hop label, and they just, you know, they just sold their whole label to this dude named Scooter Braun. And it's a thing we always got to deal with as a people, man. Whenever we see something turning into something, right? Remember, the versus battles was just getting big, and then what they did, they sold it. You know what I mean? Like, BET sold it. Whatever we have something big, we sell that shit. So, you know, we gon' get into it or whatever. We gonna jump right into those topics and stuff like that. But I wanted to just say, like, with everything that we dealing with right now, a lot of this stuff got to be identified. You can't change nothing that you can't identify. So a lot of what I'm gonna do on my channel, you gonna hear me talk about a lot of concepts that I have seen over the years that I'm bringing to the forefront. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna bring them to you in a way that's gonna make a lot of sense to you, like that. So yeah, that's what we gonna do, man. And yeah, let's get right into it. So let me see. I gotta get these analytics straight. And then we will make it happen because I'm gonna get to going off and shit I already know. So I want y'all to see these clips. And let's just go from there. Shit. Alright. Let's do let me see. I got one. Would you? I got this song stuck in my head, but I can't play it because I can't keep playing it. I can't keep playing it. That's all I've been wanting to listen to. All right, let's go. Mac World, let's get it. Let's go. And today, man, it's finna be a sad world for some of y'all, man, because we got this lady. Her name is Barbara. We gonna call her Barbara, right? Barbara's over here cooking, right? She cooking on interracial relationships, and the stuff she was saying was interesting because she was elaborating on something that Dr. Umar said. And now, that's a black dude who's considered, woke, hotep, all that. And so he made a point about interracial marriages or relationships or whatever like that. And, she kind of agreed with it to a certain extent, which was surprising. But instead of me really getting into it, I'm going to let y'all see it. I started saying something to y'all when I was telling y'all, I was in a deep train of thought. And I want to get into that real fast, though, before I go to my clip. You know what I'm saying? Let me put on my talky talk music. All right, so check it out. I was looking and I was thinking about it like this. So the situation with black people and white people, and as far as racism in this country, you have, anything that we do, they look at it like it's kind of alarming to them because it's so much stuff that we wasn't allowed to do before that for us to be able to do it now, they wondering how much power are we getting too much power and stuff. So think about it like this, and this is how I work with a lot of people in this country without them even thinking about it, because of the way conservatism, which is made to conserve social hierarchies, is set up. They think that if for them to have more, people that don't look like them automatically got to have less. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they are taught. So you wonder why do they say that they don't like the thugs, but how come when we move in their nice neighborhoods and we're like nice families, they try to get us out there? Because that's what they really don't like. They don't like having to look at you as an equal. It's one thing, no matter how you act, if you act in a certain way that make them feel better about the way they treated you in the past is good. If you act in a way that make them have to see you as an equal or like a life that matter and stuff is bad. So I always use what I call the serial killer analogy. Think about a serial killer on the movie. We normal people watching the movie, right? So naturally, as we watch the movie, and the person gets away from the killer, for us, like, that's the high point of the movie. That's what we are watching for, to see the person evade the serial killer, right? But if I'm sick in the head and I'm a serial killer and I'm watching that same movie, for me, that's the low point of the movie, when the serial killer get caught. I'm thinking like, dang, he was just on a rampage, and then them pesky kids caught him or whatever, or oh, he made this mistake and they caught him, or just whatever, however. And I'm happy at the end when I see a sign that the killer is coming back or something. So you could take the exact same thing, and people, depending on what they looking at, we looking at the exact same thing, but no matter how bad it is, it's still gonna always be people on two separate sides of that issue. You know what I'm saying? And so when you think about racism, you think about bigotry, you think about discrimination, all that, that's things that been holding us back, and in turn putting us in positions to have to turn to crime or have to do things to survive that we wouldn't do otherwise. But always, for somebody else, that's the way they want it. So think about that, But let's get into this, though. Let's go. My bad if I got a little too preachy on y'all. I know some of y'all, you can't feed steak to a baby. But yeah, let's go.
Black men get the white women that other white men genuinely do not want. You don't get the top of the line white women. You don't.
This is the final part in my series. Someone on Instagram, the question's up. All the content is up regarding this subject on Instagram and my Facebook. Someone asked, a black man asked, when are we going to talk about upper middle class white women who prey on the disenfranchised black man? Let's talk about it now. At first, I was thinking about the Kardashians, how they prey on a very specific type of black man and then use that and their children for clout and to make lots.
y'all know she finna say some real shit? Cause she got a fade like Malcolm X and some glasses like Spike Lee. So I knew she was finna say some real shit. But check this out though.
Lots of money, but that's an elite status of predatorial behavior. And I don't think that's really what that question is about. And then there are the blonde bombshells. That's what I call them. Who end up preying on athletes for one reason or another. Their
Hey,
fetish is
Nikki.
there. They're always at the right bar or the right athletes. And there are the blonde for clout and to make lots and lots of money. But that's an elite status of predatorial behavior. And I don't think that's really what that question is about. And then there are the blonde bombshells. That's what I call them. Who end up preying on athletes for one reason or another. Their fetish is there. They're always at the right bar or the right restaurant, the right gym. They live in the right apartment complex. Just when that 21, 22-year-old man is coming out of college with all those millions of dollars. The irony. And then 10, 15 years later, you got 3 kids. You're running for your life because she's threatening to kill you and calling you the N-word. And now you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just to keep her quiet and happy and over there.
Now, what she's saying right there, do y'all remember the guy who had the Instagram model girlfriend, and he was and I hate to say it, but yeah, he was an African dude. He was a Nigerian dude. You know, we from the east side though. We them East Africans though. You know what I'm saying? Kenya in the building. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but so he's an African dude or whatever, and he had a nice little, little white chick, a blonde little white chick or whatever. And she was one of them Instagram influencers or whatever like that. OnlyFans model, all that, and he had all this stuff to say negative about black women, and they like this and that. Man, that white girl was whooping his ass. You know what I'm saying? She was beating him. She would pull him by his hair, slap him all in his face. She would be like, "Shut up, get my phone, go find it. Shut up talking to me." I might even, if I got some time, show that right there. So that's exactly what she was talking about. Sometimes people want that white validation so bad, or that image of that white girl being that image of that ideal image of, I guess, like beauty or beauty status, like status beauty, that they'll go out of their way and put up with whatever just to have it or whatever. So selling out, but let's go.
No, we're not talking about them either. When I think, and when we should start to talk about the upper middle class white woman and how she preys on the disenfranchised black man, disenfranchised being that who is without privilege, it's all up in my comment section on TikTok right now. And I'm not really sure, like, where do they meet? At work? College? I'm not really sure about that aspect, but none of this is poverty. None of this is poverty. So, as much as Dr. Johnson hurt a lot of your feelings, and he is an extremist, it wasn't about agreeing with him, it was about poking the bear, which I always know how to do. Y'all fall for it. I've always said I do it. That's not my problem, nor the point of the video. What I did notice in my comment section is that a lot of black men were defending their interracial relationships and letting me know I'm a racist and I'm uneducated and the world has evolved. Here's my favorite. It's nobody's business who we date. Why should it matter? There are bigger things to worry about in the world. I mean, if you close your mind, and I didn't say black men were writing these comments, you'd literally think you were listening to white women talk. Because that's what I hear out of white women every single time they try to defend their interracial relationships. And then they go and make TikTok challenges about how expensive this one was and how I got them on sale. Or they're making wedding invitations in cotton fields with their black fiancés in shackles.
And they do stuff like that too on TikTok. Like they'll do like this racist stuff. It's never like, it's always usually racism towards the black person way or whatever. Like it'll be like a chick talking about like, have the dude dressed like a slave or something like that. It's just, oh man, it's so sad. It's like, man, black folks done been through so much mentally, man, that the things that we let people do, our biggest thing is our image. And that's what we don't guard the most. You know what I mean? That's what we let people take the most. And people do dumb shit. You could literally do something dumb, but do something dumb, say something dumb, but be acting with a black demeanor while you do it. And they would blame black culture. You could be white and be on some, oh, I got time today, nigga. Oh, I got... And they go, you're for that amount of time, you were black. You know what I'm saying? Or like some girl do something dumb, talking stupid, acting fake ghetto, and they're gonna attribute it to black women. They ain't gonna say, man, this white girl over here acting dumb and stupid. Catch me outside. How about that? That ain't reflect on white people. That reflected on black people. You know what I'm saying? Be dumb shit like that, man. But and still I rise. Looking at us. Let's go.
Or I think there was another trend about how many beautiful golden brown skinned babies you can have with a dark skinned man. But I was drinking during that time, so I could be off in the details just a little bit. The seriousness is that all of these women come from wealth. Personally, I think it's sexual gratification that gets white women in the door. I call it the mandingo fetish, that black snake moan. Y'all don't like these terminologies, and I don't give a fuck. This is how people think. Y'all just like to sugarcoat the terminology when you're deflecting and gaslighting the reality that you're actually the things and the people that I'm talking about. But again, I'm not going to go into that in this video either.
Hey, in real talk, she ain't lying, because I had to tell a white girl that she came over here, like when I first met her, she had a black dude she was talking to, and she got to asking me something about Milwaukee and like some gangs, or he said he knew some girls in Milwaukee and some gangs or something like that. And she got to asking me, I said, who the fuck is you talking to? Why are you asking me? Do you see the Bloods or the Crips in my house? Do you see me throwing up gang signs, any of that shit? Don't ask me about none of that cockamamie ass shit. I said, see, your problem is you're only concerned with stereotypical black people. So I don't know no gang bangers from Racine. I didn't even know they had gangs in Racine. What gangs they got in Racine? They probably still got vice lords out there or something, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even want to get into it, because it might be some, you know what I'm saying, some shooters out in Racine or whatever. I don't know, but guess what? I don't care. But she was like, yeah, all the gangs, and he said he knows some girl. I'm like, okay, why you hanging around him then? If you know he in a gang and all that. But basically, in a nutshell, she just thought that was just black stuff. She thought gangs and all that, and pop and bang bang boom pow ping pow was all black stuff. So she go get it circle. I go and I'm in the hood, and I'm smoking my weed. And I said, what, you got special white people weed or something like that? She's like, no, but I'm saying I said, so you hang with black people. So what, you on the metal? And I said, that's how you know you racist, because you feel like just from being around black people, somebody should acknowledge it and should reward you in some type of way. Stupid, you know what I'm saying? Ingrained into them. They don't even think about it. Let's go.
What I saw in my comment section over the last 4 days now, because I'm almost at 2,000 comments, is that black men speak like the white women they're with now in America. And I'm going to be real honest, I didn't realize so many black men were only dating white women or non-black women, but I'm not going to go into that in this video either.
But I'm going to go into that during my live stream. So she ain't got to worry about it. I got you, bald head white sir.
But there are thousands of you still. I thought that was like a 90s trend. It was done in like 2001. Here we are. And now you're talking like them.
She like it, because she was like, here we are. She know, like, she don't like it culturally, because she seemed to be keeping it pretty 100. But she like that splashback of black penile availability for her. You know what I'm saying? She can't fool nobody. That neck looking loose. Let's go.
And what I see, because I grew up in an incredibly racist conditioning, like all the white people in America, regardless of if they admit it or not, is that, see, when they were in college and they were fun and everything was having just a party, it was cool to be in that interracial relationship where you were still a black man, your own identity, your own person, your own being. But now y'all have been married 10 years and y'all got three
Dude,
kids.
she
Y'all
is
live in
telling
the
the truth
suburbs
right
in that
now.
gated community.
She telling the truth right now. She said, you get it, you listen, this the arc. You meet a white girl in college. Look, I got cousins, like I got two sides of my family, my African side, my American side. All of my African side of my family, all, well, except for my one cousin, but all my other cousins, all married white girls. You know what I'm saying? And they are like, they're white through and through, like culturally. And I got a cousin in particular. Me and him used to be real close, but like he with his white wife or whatever. I don't even know what they thing is with them, but she's super racist. You know what I'm saying? She racist, and she is like, she racist and real narcissistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's funny because the way she treat him is like, I know you need my validation. You know what I'm saying? Because like, like we started this out with me being the white girl that validated you as this African dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then like now, like she's saying, it start out like that and it's cool at first. You the black dude or whatever, you know, it make her look interesting. But then down the line, as y'all move more towards white culture, now she just a white girl who got this black dude. You know what I'm saying? And now you being a regular black dude, that shit ain't cool no more. Like, I'm talking about where, you know, dude used to be like cool and like shit like that. Like now he can't hang with no black people. He can hang out only with Asians and Mexicans. And then he can't hang with no other black people. It's like strict rules, I noticed, that he gotta kind of adhere by to keep his status with this, you know, to be accepted around her circle of people. He don't got no friends. It's just him, and then like around the people he want her to be around. It's kind of sad when I come over there, man. He be like, man, hey Sean, like it be like I be getting vibes like, man, please bail me out, bro. He be like, man, he be wanting to say like, man, could I borrow your black nuts, bro, so I could get out this situation. Like, I know if I were you, I would be able to figure something out, but that's a whole crazy paradigm. But she is cooking right now. Let's go.
Where you were still a black man, your own identity, your own person, your own being. But now y'all have been married 10 years and y'all got three kids and y'all live in the suburbs in that gated community, and that whole white world, as long as they accept you, she's going to be happy. So you can be a black man, but not that kind of black man. You can be the black man that white people feel is acceptable and will allow them around their, you know, groups and social events and the PTO. And all of the people commenting in my comment section are predominantly upper middle class. So when I go to their Facebook pages and I see that they live these upper middle class lives, I'm really understanding that it's a whitewashing of identity. And it doesn't happen overnight. If you look at anything when it comes to social construct, it does take 3 generations to actually make something truly happen. It's almost as if white supremacy knew that a whole bunch of rich white girls were going to have a mandingo fetish. So they decided to perpetuate the idea that we'll get black men in their clutches. And then eventually, over time and generations, the children will not only be lighter, but all that blackness will just be washed away unless it's appropriate and acceptable in the white world we've pulled them into with our clutches. I'm not going to debate anybody about this subject. What I said was what I said.
And shit, what she said is for real. I could definitely attest to that myself. I done been to college and all that, and like I talked about yesterday, anytime you are a black man, you know, and they see you as a viable candidate, you know, for whatever, like they start to test you. They will be like, you will get tested with things that kind of question how dedicated to your blackness you are, or your black culture you are, because if they can, they want to snatch you and take you over to their side. You know what I'm saying? But You know, you got to be with the shit. You got to be with the selling out and shit like that. And you wonder why would people do that? You know, it's not just a thing that where people just do it for no reason, or it's just like, oh, a black man just going down going a certain way or going in a certain direction or something like that. You know, because like not just black men for the sake of black men doing it. It's not exclusive to black people and it's not exclusive to men. Black women could try to date a white man to try to get to somebody they see themselves as a higher status, and if it requires them to shed their identity or parts of their identity, they will do it. You know what I mean? Different things like that, those different type of paradigms. So it's not uncommon. It's more of a survival mechanism, if you will. And that kind of brings me to my next clip, which I want to jump right into, because what I was using this clip to explain is how people end up in positions of self-hatred, kind of like what she was talking about, how you see she talking about the black dudes on her in her comments, like vehemently defending like interracial relationships and calling her racist and things like that. It's because she hurting their feelings, because she don't want them to say the quiet part out loud. They know, like, a lot of relationships like that is role playing. You know what I'm saying? You're playing the role of this black dude who, like, it's like The Blind Side. Remember they got the little black dude with the football dude and the white lady came and saved him. You're supposed to be the black man they saved from black culture, but really what it is that's bullshit, because they don't want you to be a black leader in your culture. I'm gonna say that one more time. They ain't saving you from shit. They don't care about saving you. If you strong, you look like you strong, you look like you could be influential, you look like you got something to say that people gonna listen to. They want you on their side. You know what I'm saying? Sean, how you doing? You speak so well. You know what I'm saying, man? I done got offered to sell out plenty times because I'm a hell of a orator, whatever you want to call it. Like, I could talk like a motherfucker and I could explain some shit. So I done got offered plenty times. And you see this? You see this black skin? You see these dreads? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. This kryptonite for a white girl. You know what I'm saying? So I done got offered plenty times to sell out, but I ain't going, man. I got Africa tatted right on my eyelid. You know what I'm saying? And it's in me. It's deep in me. And I got my African name on my neck. In Arabic, though. It ain't even in English. So, nah, my African roots is deep as hell, though. But let's go to this next clip, though, because this will really give y'all an idea of, like, America is a capitalism, and a lot of capitalism was used to replace, slavery. So let's look at this, though. I want y'all to see this. Let's go.
Is that whiteness is... What is whiteness? Well, the short answer is that whiteness is whatever it needs to be. Whiteness was created to differentiate one people from the people they were oppressing. Whiteness is a means to an end, and the people most fixated with the definition of whiteness are racists, but there is no anti-racist.
And yeah, this some white history for y'all, because as y'all hear, this ain't Dr. Umar talking. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Malcolm X talking. This is clearly a white dude telling you about white people. So let's go.
Definition. Racists invented whiteness, and all white people are folded into it. And the way white people conceive of whiteness is fundamentally different from how they conceive of other races. A common example of this phenomenon is Barack Obama. Obama had one black parent and one white parent. But while he can call himself the first black president, he could never call himself a white president. Or, well, he could call himself whatever he wanted, but white people wouldn't agree, and no one would treat him like a white president. White people are only white if they're purebreds. Family tree that one can pretend it isn't there. These rules of purity don't apply to other races. When black and white people have children, those children are allowed to be black, or any number of often racist terms for mixed-race children. But whatever they are, they can't be white. This frames interracial families as an increase of one race and a decrease in whites. So, by this logic, where other races spread, whiteness has to be maintained. White people don't consider whiteness a race. It is the absence of race, the undiluted form of which all other races are deviations.
Do y'all hear that? Y'all hearing this straight from y'all? Y'all hearing this straight from Dwight? Straight from Dwight himself. He said white people do not consider themselves a race. They consider whiteness the absence of race. So that's why it always seemed weird when they be trying to come up with something racial to identify with. It be like weird ass shit, like it'll be like knights and Vikings and shit like that, or it might be like old it'd be like weird shit or whatever, because they have to come up with that racial identity, because race is a social construct. They created the purpose of whiteness was to decide for blackness. You know what I'm saying? The American dream was for white people. The American nightmare was for black people, and they had to divide us up. You get in the dream, you get in the nightmare, you get in the dream, you get in the nightmare. You somewhere in between, for right now, you get the nightmare. You know what I mean? But let's go.
And if it goes, it can't be brought back. This is, of course, nonsense. It's a bunch of made-up rules to justify white supremacy. There's only so long fascists can insist if we don't strike first, they're going to kill us all, before people start to notice that the race war they've been promising for a century doesn't seem to be happening. So then the terms have to be updated. Now the existential threat is a generational project. Now black people even existing near white people is the race war. They're literally going to fuck us out of existence. And because whiteness is made up, it can be endlessly redefined. A tension inherent to fascism is that rather a lot of people are required to bring it into existence, but by design only a small number will run it once it exists. So commonly the definition of us is broadened while building coalitions, and gets progressively narrower the more fascist society becomes. White fascists in the US and Europe go back and forth on whether or not Jewish people get to be white. For a while it was kind of a soft yes, and now it's tipping the other way as they gain influence. Ethnic groups formerly considered non-white, like Italians and the Irish, became white when white culture feared marginalized immigrants might ally with slaves in revolt.
I bet y'all, a lot of y'all didn't know that. I know some people did, but a lot of people didn't. They didn't even used to consider Italians and Irish people as regular white people back in the days. Like, as far as whiteness, the purpose of whiteness always been to discriminate. So you will decide, whiteness is to decide who not white. So at first whiteness was, and it's a political party, just like black people. White people are definitely a political party, but they use euphemisms, patriot, real American, and they don't let us identify as a political party as black people, because our solidarity is our biggest strength. You know what I'm saying? So they constantly are in solidarity against us while we try to figure out which way we want to go. But anyway, so yeah, the shit is crazy. You know what he was saying? It's like, they wasn't even considered white at first, but then now they consider white, and then when they don't need them no more, they gonna consider them non-white again,
Bigotry is intersectional. There aren't a lot of single-issue bigots, people who hate Mexicans but fight for everyone else's rights. People generally don't apply this hierarchical thinking to just one aspect of their lives, so commonly, racism is comorbid with anti-Semitism, is comorbid with misogyny, is comorbid with transphobia, is comorbid with homophobia, is comorbid with religious intolerance. I mean, just listen to a Klansman talk about Catholics sometime, or better yet, don't. Any marginalized group may be inducted into the tribe to...
This the picture I was gonna use for my thumbnail right here. Look at this dude, black, went and got a swastika tattooed on his chest doing a Nazi salute, and then you can look in the background and you see he got like a Cowboy Bebop poster on the wall. Like, you could tell he probably one of them black guys that be around a lot of white people. And it's like, when you are trying to fit in like that, it's like blackness, part of your own identity, part of who you are, becomes a liability to you. And that's how you end up with these people you know, in these weird ass spaces, in these weird ass head spaces like this dude right here. I was gonna use this. I was gonna use this for the thumbnail. And another thing he just said that's true is he said, you know, bigotry is intersectional. So that's explained a lot of what you see going on. Like, I hate to say it, but with a lot of black men out here now, it's like you see that like it started out with them, they figured out how to radicalize a lot of them or whatever. Like, it's like, okay, we gonna start out with identifying with this one thing that we don't like, that y'all don't like, and we gonna tell y'all like, yeah, see, we don't like this and y'all don't like it. Let's just say, for example, we'll say like trans rights or something like that. So then it start out with like, you this black dude and you feel like you're relating to these white guys that traditionally are racist and all this. Like, yeah, we're finally related. I don't give a shit. I don't care about getting along with nobody that I know is racist and all that. But some people be secretly yearning for a pat on the head and like, I just want to fit in just one time. Like, I don't never want to be like that. Thank the Lord for these big black nuts. But yeah, so it'll be in one of those situations where, you know, they'll end up telling you like, as long as you kind of marginalize that part of you, you know, you could get some of the heat, some of the pressure took off of you. You don't get, and that's the thing, you don't get nothing. They don't do nothing. They just say, we're not going to look at you this way. We're not going to look at you that way. And sometimes they'll fool you into thinking that will somehow translate into an opportunity because, well, they're not looking at me like a regular black person. They see that I'm different. So what if I had to sell out? One day I'm going to be something. And then you turn around and they don't do shit for your black ass. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Consolidate against a common enemy. But should that enemy be defeated, the inductees become the new enemy. We can see the history of social progress in the US as successively disenfranchised groups demanding and sometimes gaining their rights one by one, with reactionaries trying to beat back the tide. Transphobia is recently rampant in fascist circles and conservative politics because with the legalization of same-sex marriage, the battle against homosexuality is thought to be lost, or at least at a ceasefire. This gives some cause to welcome gay transphobes into the ranks, but should they seize enough power to strip what few protections trans people have gained recently, and the alliance is no longer useful, their gaze refocuses, and it's last hired first fired for the homosexuals. And then the African Americans, and then the women, and on, stripping rights from social groups in the order opposite to which they were gained, like the plot of Final Destination 2. You might be thinking the end goal here is a nice homogenous group of white men to sit at the top of the pyramid, and white fascists would be thinking the same thing. But in reality, there is no endgame. It's not like if the fascists get their ethnostate, they're just gonna call it a day. It's the flaw in obsessing over racial purity. Whiteness is defined by what it's not. If it isn't contrasted with something else, it ceases to be an identity. So
there you go. There y'all got it right there. It's not, that's the whole thing. And that's the problem. That's why we always got this feeling like black people like, man, when is they gonna leave us alone? Never, ever, because whiteness is defined by what it's not. And the main thing they look at is blackness. They look at what we say. One minute they'll be saying, oh, this is slang and that's ebonics. Then the next thing you know, you'll turn on the Fox News and they'll be like, this slaps and that slaps. And you know what I'm saying? Be using that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like what they can't beat, they just take. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy, but yeah, it's not gonna never stop. It's not no going on their side, because if you go on their side, what's their identity? I was thinking about that. Like you got people like Candace Owens and Kanye West. They talk about the left and the Democrats and all that. You know why that shit is so funny to me? Because if every black person right now or too many black people decided to become Republicans, guess what the Republican Party gonna do? Man, they gonna abandon being Republicans like a motherfucker. They don't want all them people, man. Like, then how would they define themselves? Who would they be against? Who would they fight against? Like, it's just stupid. And that's why I have no respect for, like, people that consider themselves black conservatives like that, because it's like, you just trying to be, you just want to be looked at as the special boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't trying to, it's like, oh man, I don't agree with what they doing over there. Man, get the fuck out of here. The shit they doing over there benefits you more than sitting up over here with your tail tucked between your legs. But I digress. Let's go.
If the whites kick all the non-whites out of their country, suddenly the Irish and Italians aren't white anymore. And then maybe the albinos, or the brunettes, or the Virginians. It doesn't matter. The rules are made up. One way or another, the pyramid grows thinner. The authoritarian mindset is one that just likes stripping rights from people. Leave authoritarians no one to strip rights from, and they start stripping them from each other. And yes, that's what the research says. The other outlet for this restless energy is war, invasion, colonization. Deport all the Mexicans, and then follow them into Mexico. Go seeking an other to define yourself against. Now, you've maybe noticed that these three drives, the seeking out of conflict, the need to subjugate more and more people, and the shrinking of one's base of power, is not a recipe for success. Most hierarchical systems seek equilibrium, finding the point where the masses are just happy enough that they don't disembowel you. But the trajectory of fascism is to make enemies, cast out allies, narrow the gene pool, and stuff your ill-gotten wealth into the military until you're fully stocked with the kinds of weapons that ensure mutual destruction. I'm not the first to say, white fascism is a suicide cult. The history of fascism is one of atrocity, followed by failure, followed by disgrace. So modern fascists operate in a cycle of constant reinvention as they try to distance themselves from the movements that came before.
And that's what you got now. Now it's under the guise of like, oh man, we're men doing this and we don't like women. And that's how they get a lot of black dudes. Like they try and play off of this fake ass gender war going on, and then so it's like, oh, if you got a problem with the women and stuff, it's like, yeah, I feel you, bro, and look at me too, I have a fade too now, bro, we're getting faded up, bro, and we don't like women alike, bro. But nah, all that shit is to eventually radicalize you into everything else. Next thing you know, you talking like Kanye, like you don't like the Jews, and then you talking about you don't like your own people, you know what I mean, shit like that. So it's not without its reasons why people, go on and support something that you would think like that ideology is completely opposite of anything that would help you out in any form of fashion. But it's like, some people just don't want to be bullied. Think about a bully in a movie or in a like a movie or something like that, right? A lot of the bully's friends ain't really the bully's friends. They just don't want to be bullied. You know what I mean? So they like, yeah, we gonna just go like hang around him so he could target other people, not us. And that's kind of the vibe of a lot of these people when they call themselves being conservative and all that. And yeah, I'm all this and trying to separate themselves from black people. Man, it's Black History Month, so I'm on y'all ass. So if y'all don't like it, too bad, because it's going to be even blacker tomorrow, damn it. You know what I'm saying? Shit finna get black for this month. You know what I'm saying? I might even throw up some black decorations in this mug. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to get to the bottom of some shit as a people. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to cook on that right there because a lot of people have made it. They're trying to make selling out just the natural end game for an intelligent or upwardly mobile black person. Like the last step of it is to separate yourself from black people. And then that's why we'll never end up coming up. It's like, you try to work and work and work and work till you get to a point where you can, abandon your generational advancement. You know what I'm saying? Like shit dumb, but that brings me to my next clip too. We got a major record label, QC. QC got like the City Girls, the Migos, all that. QC is probably the biggest rap label right now, the biggest label in rap music right now. So it's just been reported that they sold the label, and it is what it is, man. But we still got to talk about it. Let's go.
PN Coach K says that quality control labels to Scooter Braun, South Korean entertainment company, HYBE in a $300 million deal. Then Pete, he hopped on IG to speak about it. He said, I don't usually post long notes, but I recorded some thoughts tonight. There's no value in separation. There's so much more value when people are working together and not hating and taking each other down, especially when you come from nothing. Stop thinking people are selling out. Instead, people are selling in, and see that you are building something to create more for everybody. Black entrepreneurs are not getting these opportunities on a regular basis, and they should be. Let's stay inspired, celebrate the blessings, and leveling up, breaking the barriers, ready for the next chapter. So I'm not sure exactly what this means, but they just sold the whole label. They've been building this label for almost 10 years, and it was successful right out the gate because, of course, they came with Migos, then they came with Yachty, a whole bunch of other rappers, Lil Baby. They signed Cardi B for a management deal, the City Girls. Like, they had so many people on their label and come through their label that the fact that they selling it for $300 million, a lot of people was like, damn, why y'all selling y'all black-owned label for only $300 million? And people was like, y'all selling out. Why y'all can't just keep on building y'all company up? Why are y'all selling out? That's probably the reason why Offset left. Offset probably saw this happening in the works, and he was probably like, let me get out while I can. I'm just trying to figure out, what does this mean for the future of QC? Because HYBE, that's a South Korean music group, entertainment group. So do that mean?
And that's another thing, this culture war that y'all see, it ain't just about like a war on black culture. It's a war for black culture, the most influential, the most powerful thing in the world right now. Don't nothing drive more consumerism. Ain't nothing more influential to the younger generations. Don't nothing make control more trends. None of that than black culture. So when you see them giving people like QC, the most popular rap label, $300 million for their whole label they've been building up, that really is like pennies on the dollar for a large chunk of the culture you are purchasing. Now, you want to say, it's a business move and it ain't a racial thing, but you could look at this right here. Look at this statement that he made where he said something about this statement right here, where he said it's more value to working together and black entrepreneurs not getting these opportunities. Like, see, that's the thing. It's always this thing with black people. And like, this is my African side speaking with my black side. Like, it's always this thing about black people where they think the ultimate goal is to do it myself. The ultimate goal is for them to see how good I am and give me the opportunity. Like, make your own opportunity, man. It might not come at the same speed, but it's way more gratifying, and that's an opportunity that could be passed down to the rest of your family. Now, with you having QC, man, you had a vehicle for making music that you could have kept. Y'all could have kept in y'all family for generations, hired y'all people and all that, and fed y'all families, and you know what I'm saying, taught them the business that y'all use to get to the point where they want to offer y'all all this money. But instead, everything y'all did, all y'all hard work and everything, y'all just sold everything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, now y'all get a lot of money. And don't get me wrong, that money could be took and it could be put into other things and more generational wealth and all that. But it's gonna be shit in there where, like no compete clauses, where they can't just start another label again and they can't do what made them good. Essentially, it is selling out, because what you were good at doing that got you rich, they bought you out of doing that. Now you're not doing that no more. You know what I'm saying? And then if you are still working in that capacity, you got a boss now. You made a lot of money, but now you got a boss. So you have rented out your livelihood or turned it over to them, to the South Korean company. I mean, my final thought, I'm going to just say that, yeah, that's a big problem we got, man, is not seeing our worth in ourselves and our own hard work, and not seeing the worth in each other. At the end of the day, man, nobody gonna know you better than somebody that understand what you've been through and where you came from. You could try and work with these people, but they only interested as far as you are beneficial to them. And then what's gonna happen is they will always keep in mind the things that keep them separate from you. Somebody that's like you, man, y'all in it together just because in nature y'all are put together. You know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna be forced to work together and see, you know what I'm saying, where y'all could magnify each other's strengths and stuff like that. So I guess I'm gonna end it with a Nino Brown quote. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta make sure that we keeping each other, in good shape and all that, mentally and all that, and culturally and everything. So this kind of, to see this right here, and CQC selling they label, it kind of is fucked up. It's messed up. But I also think this. I also think that they got QC the label, so they got the name, and then the artist probably got contracts with the label. But if shit start going sideways, all the artists gonna do is end up making bad music, or either they gonna end up leaving the label and the label is gonna fall apart. People always want to come with black people and they never want to help us during the race, but they want to meet us at the finish line. You know what I'm saying? And it never go right. Cause by the time we get to the finish line, we motherfucking tired. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go on and leave it on that note, man. I had to get blackity black on y'all for Black History Month today, man. Shout out to everybody that checked out the show. Shout out to my moderator, Day to Day K. You know what I'm saying? Annette, I see you. Nikki, I see you. Who else we got in here? Hustlers Home, I see you, player. Everybody checking out the content, go ahead, hit that like button if you ain't hit it today. It's free as hell if you ain't subscribed to the channel. Somebody thought subscribing to channels on YouTube costs. Nope, it's free. Don't cost you nothing. So go ahead, hit me with a subscribe. You like the content, make sure you share it with your people. If you learned something today, I'm glad I could help you, expand how you think about some of these things. And yeah, man, we gonna keep on cooking for the rest of Blackity Black History Month. And on that note, man, I'm up out of here, man. So until tomorrow, later, y'all.